have to take you to Kumasi, where Erastus Asaridonko will be giving us the latest on an incident which happened sometime last week and now gone viral on social media about a lady who was accosted, stalked, and ultimately mobbed by young men in the suburb of Kumasi for allegedly stealing a sum of 1,000 Ghana cedis or so. And we know the incident apparently, according to officials of the Ghana Police Service, had been reported to a police station in Kumasi, but ultimately the lady had not come back for further investigations to be conducted on the subject. And Erastus Asaridonko will make sure that he gives us the latest on the subject. And very soon we want to stream the video for you to see. And then also while we talk to Erastus Asaridonko alongside. A very good morning to Erastus Asaridonko. Erastus, good morning.
Good morning, Roland.
Now, particularly, what's the latest on this incident in which the lady whose mobbing had gone viral on social media?
Well, I think we've been updating our viewers for some time now. We went to the area, we combed the area to find out what exactly happened the other side. We spoke to traders at the KGTR area, the PZ building where the incident occurred. And the indication we got was that we are getting conflicting reports. Many of the traders who joined in this particular barbaric act did not even know what the lady has done. And they just joined because they felt that when somebody is brought in and paraded naked, it means he's stolen something. In fact, we were told at the 18 line, close to the central market where he was accosted, that in that area, if you are a lady and you steal, that is what they do to you. So this is about the 6th time they are stripping a lady naked and parading her through the streets of KGTR. And so several other ladies have also suffered the same. Now, after our investigation, we were going to the Central Police Station to get the side of the police when we met the Divisional Crime Officer. And he requested that we go with him under the guise of being a reporter with multimedia so that he can get first-hand information on the ground. We did that. In fact, many market women volunteered information to us concerning why people do what they do at the central market area. Then, this dawn, we heard that the police went to the area and effected some arrests, including the women who volunteered information in the presence of the Divisional Crime Officer. And so one lady, for instance, was arrested, I've learned, because she passed some comments about the police, which they did not like. And so she was added to the number of people who were arrested. So far, we have about 20 people arrested from the KGTR area. Those who were selling mobile phones, those who were selling clubs, women who were witnessed the incident and all that. Many of them have been rounded up, including where the incident occurred in front of the PZ building. So that is what has happened as we speak. But we also have confirmed from the police that when the lady in question was brought to them by a taxi driver, they gave her a medical form, a police medical form, to attend hospital and return to the police for investigation. None of her details was taken down. Her name and other things were not taken. And so she went and never came back. So as we speak, the police are searching for her. They don't have a clue where she is at the moment.
We're told that in some of the reports that the lady did not actually steal.
That is what I'm saying, conflicting reports. In fact, in all our investigations, none of the respondents were able to give us the exact thing she did. Some even said she stole a bunch of yam. Some said they learned she stole 1,100 Ghana cedis from a woman. And then these women who have also been arrested gave us this information that no, all that is false. The incident occurred last Saturday in the morning. She's a Nigerian woman. She tried to swindle somebody of an amount of money, undisclosed amount of money. And the guys over there got wind of it and they arrested her. I asked where this woman was. They said the woman is not a trader at the central market. She was just passing by. And so she has since gone on her way. And so there's no complainant to what the lady is alleged to have done. They do not know the amount involved. They just learned that she was trying to swindle the woman, and so they got wind of it and arrested her. So about three different accounts of what she might have done, and we couldn't verify any of these.
Well, we'll see how that goes. And Erastus Aridonko, we have to thank you for the latest on that incident that is being reported from Kumasi, in which a lady was accosted and ultimately mobbed by a group of young men. And I believe some group of women are also involved as well. And the police have tried to now come in following interventions by leading civil society organizations and women's rights groups, especially in the media, about the rate at which these incidents are taking place, but particularly about the action that was meted out to the lady. But we have to take you to Tamale, where police in the metropolis, they've arrested 4 people for attempting to seize a toll booth in Tamale. Martina Bugri is joining us on the phone with a lot more details on the subject. Matilda, very good morning to you. Matilda?
Good morning, Roland.
Yeah, Martina.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Now, who are these group of people? Because we know that the seizure of toll booths and other government facilities had always been attributed to some supporters, irate supporters of the MPP, so to speak, just because they won power over the last month.
These guys, we learn, one actually has been identified as an MPP supporter, but the rest, they are unable to tell the party they belong to. But the police, my source at the police, they actually are not treating it as a party matter. What I learned was that yesterday, it was actually a revenue collected point C, and one person was arrested. The others managed to escape, but they went to the police station to try to rescue this other person who was accosted, and they were also arrested. And so currently we have 4 people in custody. They found on them an AK-47 rifle and 32 rounds of ammunition and a cutlass. And so basically this is what happened yesterday.
I see. Now, did the police try to come in and perhaps also effect some arrests beyond the one that they have?
I'm told they are investigating, and if there's the need for them to do further arrests, that will be done. But I'm told also that they'll be processing these 4 this morning for court.
Wow. If these are the spate of incidents or that are being recorded, or is it the first of such incident being recorded in Tamale?
We have had several of them. Even yesterday in the morning also at the TCH, the whole secretariat of the hospital chief executive was locked, and throughout the whole day they could not enter. They did not have access to the places, so they basically did not work. This is not also the only incident. We have had them SADA, the YEA, and other NHIS officers in the metropolis. Several of these have happened.
Well, very interesting as it is. So, do we have any comments from the political administrators in the region, i.e. regional ministers, or perhaps those who are holding the fort in the meantime before we have a complete set of political appointees who will be heading the region?
What we've had is that the youth organizer of the NPP on several occasions has used some other groups to go into these offices and help restore calm. For officially, we have not had people from these political parties to condemn or to come out and then say this is we don't support it. But we have had these leaders go with them on several occasions to have these officers restored.
See. Very interesting incident as it is. But we'll see how that goes. And we have to get back to you, Martina Bugri, joining us from Tamale, in which the police have arrested one person among about 4 or more others who had seized a toll booth or a toll collection point, we're told. And so we would have the latest update on this. And we know we'll bring you the latest as far as this is concerned. But traffic lawlessness is causing mayhem at Bupe following road closures due to bridge repairs. And we know that announcement was made over the last week. The road has since been blocked since the night of the previous day, causing traffic to build up from there all the way through to Kintampo. To make matters worse, the big buses have now parked alongside each other at the bridge in a bid to be the first to go through when the road is unblocked, as stated by the statement at 6 a.m. And, well, we have a lecturer with the University of Cape Coast, Dagbe Amanuma, who is one of the travelers stranded before the crossing point of the bridge. A very good morning to you, Ms. Amanuma. Ms. Amanuma, a very good morning to you. Well, I seem to have lost Mr. Degbe Amanuma. We're told that he's one of the witnesses severally who are waiting to cross over onto the next part of the region. That's crossing the Bupe Bridge. A very good morning to you, Mr. Amanuma.
Hello. Good morning, Roland.
Now, can you share with us some of the experiences following the closure of the bridge before it gets to be reopened? What you as a traveler, your experiences are currently?
People are down. People are trying to survive. You don't get anything now. You get motorbikes trying to bring water from Bupe to help people, but aside that, no vehicular movement. You see some military personnel, some police, but nothing happened. The main bridge is still not open, and unfortunately, the lanes from south to the north are a three. And so even if they open, I don't know how those coming will pass. And people came, they were here at 2 p.m. yesterday. I landed into the traffic around 8 p.m. and we are still here. Actually, nothing is happening. Nothing.
All right. There were statements by the authorities on the subject about the road closure. Did you see it in any way, or did you read about it? And because they had provided diversion points.
Yes, but unfortunately, you can imagine these OA, Adeshe, VIP, they are all here. So I wonder if they are also not aware, because if you talk to the people, they said it will be open at 6 a.m. But as of now, nothing is happening. So they are all aware, but I don't know why they still took this route. But actually, nothing is happening. No vehicle movement. No vehicle movement.
So when are they going to open the bridge then?
Nobody is saying anything. The military and the police are here. Nobody is saying anything. There is absolutely no vehicular movement. Nothing is happening. Engines are off. I mean, we are just standing. Nothing is happening. And the traffic row, you can imagine, from 2 p.m., 3 lanes, thick, long traffic. No one is moving. And we are still waiting.
All right, we'll get back to you on it and try and see whether we can get some word from officials of the Ghana Highway Authority, etc., to see how the situation could be ameliorated. But we also know that a statement had been sent through, especially broadcast widely by the media, particularly on the subject of the closure of the bridge. And we'll try and see whether we can retrieve that statement to you, because it said particularly that when you want to use the bridge, then it means that you also need to make sure you observe certain cautions. And the statement was signed by or was issued by the Minister for Roads and Highways on February 15. It was a Wednesday, 2017, and it follows that the Ghana Highway Authority has announced the closure of the Bupe Bridge in the northern region to vehicular traffic and the traveling public from Friday, February 17th to Wednesday, 8th March 2017 to enable emergency repair works to be carried out on the bridge. It also indicated that the bridge will be closed from 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following day, and only vehicles weighing up to 20 tons will be allowed to cross the bridge between the hours of 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Each day during the period of the works. And we also know that these limitations to the tonnages of the vehicles have been set because of the heavy nature of the trucks in terms of their weight that tend to travel on that corridor. The statement continued that it has consequently advised motorists traveling to and from the northern region to use the following alternative routes. Northern bound travelers traveling from south towards Tamale, the route is Kumasi, Techiman, Winchi, Sola, Fufolso Junction to Tamale. And then we also have the southbound traveling from Tamale towards the south. The route is Tamale, Fufolso Junction, Sola, Winchi, and Techiman. So that's the route. Again, let me just take you through. If you know you're traveling from any part of the south to the north through Bonafo, this is what you need to do. And you take the route Kumasi, Techiman, Winchi, Sola, Fufolso Junction, Tamale, but you're traveling also from the north or through Tamale to the south. You take the route Tamale, Fufolso Junction, Sola, Winchi, and Techiman. Well, the ministry recognizes the strategic importance of the bridge as it facilitates the movement of goods and services and people from the northern part of the country. It is also located on the international transit corridor which serves Ghana and its landlocked neighbors. The statement says they duly appreciate the inconveniences the closure will pose to the motoring and traveling public and would ensure that the repair works are carried out diligently so that the works will be completed on time to ease the inconveniences associated with the works. Motorists are therefore advised to adhere to the directional and safety signs that would be made available appropriately on locations on the corridor. And we hope that all of you have seen some of the communication from the Ministry of Roads and Highways concerning the closure of the Bupe Bridge. Well, just 16 hours after the president had the State of the Nation address, and so we'll want to bring you some key highlights from Tuesday's State of the Nation address.
Mr. Speaker, probably the most difficult problem that has dogged this nation in the past 5 years has been in the energy sector. This has caused havoc in small, medium, and large enterprises. It has disrupted families and businesses and brought many organizations to their knees. The most obvious manifestation of the energy problem has earned us notoriety in the world with the entry into Wikipedia and other dictionaries of the word doomsday. It is a phenomenon that has blighted our lives, destroyed appliances, and collapsed many companies. The attempts by the previous government to resolve the crisis have led to a gargantuan debt overhang in the sector. We have inherited a heavily indebted energy sector with a net debt reaching $2.4 billion United States dollars as of December 2016. I have to point out the alarming fact that $800 million US dollars of this debt is owed to local banks, which threatens their stability and that of the whole financial sector. Indeed, the huge indebtedness of the energy sector constitutes the single major hurdle to Ghanaians enjoying reliable and affordable electricity supply. Mr. Speaker, there has been some improvement in the power supply since November last year, but the challenges facing Ghana's power sector are far from over. The key problem is cost. We produce power from Akosombo at 3 US cents per kilowatt hour. The marginal price for businesses is an effective 42 cents, more than 10 times the average tariff in West Africa. This makes it very difficult to start or run a business here and be competitive. The cost of energy destroys businesses large and small. It is the bane of the vulcanizer, the tailor, the dressmaker and the hairdresser, the carpenter and the wayside fitting mechanic. It destroys jobs. It compounds poverty. The current state of the energy situation in our country is unsatisfactory. The problems are enormous, but Mr. Speaker, we must and we will confront them. I am proposing a number of policy interventions. We will improve on transparency in tariff setting and introduce a new tariff policy that will reclassify consumer categories in order to protect lifeline and strategic industrial consumers. We will also reduce significantly some of the levies and taxes on the tariffs. As of the end of 2016, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, had signed 43 power purchase agreements, whilst a further 23 were under discussion. Government is conducting a review of all the power agreements entered into by the previous government in order to prioritize, renegotiate, defer or cancel outright if necessary in the national interest. Overall, we began to develop a national electricity master plan, which will also explore the benefits of listing VRA and Gridco on the stock exchange. Mr. Speaker, order. Mr. Speaker, order. My government will enforce the procurement law. My government will enforce the procurement law. We will insist on open and competitive bidding for power capacity procurement. Order. This will not only reduce the cost of power projects and ensure value for money, but will also address the problem of unplanned procurement. Government will encourage increased private sector investment in utility-scale solar and wind energy projects, as well as accelerate the development of mini-grid solutions in off-grid and island communities for lighting, irrigation, and other economic activities. We will consequently review the Renewable Energy Act to provide further incentives to attract the private sector to invest. I say nothing new or dramatic when I tell this House that the economy of our country is in a bad way. In the run-up to the recent elections, I said so often and loudly. Some 6 weeks after taking over the reins of government, it gives me no pleasure to have to say that our worst fears have been confirmed, plus a few additional unpleasant surprises as well. Mr. Speaker, many get quite lost when economists start rattling figures and statistics. I will not try to bore you with a lot of figures, but I hope you will bear with me as I have to put certain essential facts before our country. You would recall that notwithstanding the fact that the previous government had more than 10 times the financial resources than any other government since independence, its management of our economy in the run-up to the 2012 presidential and parliamentary elections resulted in a quagmire that necessitated the urgent intervention of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in 2014. The IMF program negotiated was ostensibly to restore fiscal discipline, debt sustainability, and increase economic growth. The previous government promised Ghanaians that the reckless public expenditure that characterized the 2012 election year would not be repeated. That characterized the 2012 election year would not be repeated in 2016. Mr. Speaker, the promises to the Ghanaian people were, however, not kept. In fact, virtually all the targets under the IMF program as of December 2016 have been missed. Fiscal indiscipline once again reared its head in the 2016 election year. Total projected expenditure for 2016 was 443.9 billion cedis. That is 26% of GDP. But actual expenditure amounted to 50.3 billion Ghana cedis, 30.2% of GDP. The full facts of the situation have not been put before the Ghanaian people. It appears from what we are finding out that some 7 billion cedis of arrears and outstanding payments circumvented the very public financial management system that was put in place to prevent such occurrence. These expenditures are being currently audited. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, Mr. Speaker, at the same time, revenue performance for the year was poor. The total revenue target for our country was 37.9 billion cedis, 22.7% of GDP, but the actual revenue came in at 33.2 billion cedis, 19.9% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, the combination of higher expenditures and lower revenues than projected resulted in a significant increase in the budget deficit for 2016. As compared to a target of 5.3% under the IMF program, the fiscal deficit for 2016 was 9% of GDP on a cash basis and 10.2% of GDP on a commitment basis. That is, on the basis of expenditures undertaken but not yet paid for. It should be recalled that at the time Ghana entered into the IMF program to restore fiscal discipline, the fiscal deficit was 10.2% of GDP. It is very clear, therefore, that the objectives set out in the program have not been achieved. Mr. Speaker, the increasing fiscal deficits were financed by increased borrowing. As at the beginning of 2009, Ghana's total debt stock was 9.5 billion cedis. By the end of 2016, the debt stock has ballooned to 122 billion cedis. Ghana's debt stock. Order. Ghana's debt stock now stands at 74% of GDP after all the previous denials to the contrary. More debt was accumulated by the previous government in the last 8 years than all other governments put together since independence. People can only prosper and flourish in an atmosphere of peace and security. Safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation is critical for our progress. We will improve the state of combat readiness of our armed forces by improving the logistical infrastructure and improve the welfare of servicemen and women and also of veterans. Our armed forces remain one of the best organized and most professional in Africa. Presently, Mr. Speaker, about 3,000 Ghanaian soldiers are involved in peacekeeping operations around the globe. We need to do more to keep their morale high and empower them. We have decided that they should be paid their allowances at post and not on their return. I'm glad to say that this new regime of payment has been applied to the case of the Gambian deployment. Mr. Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to be able to inform the House that the outstanding arrears of $13 million for all peacekeeping personnel have been cleared by my government. And the contingents in the Gambia have been paid all their allowances in full. And the contingents in the Gambia have been paid all their allowances in full. I have asked the Minister for Defense, to come shortly before Parliament and make a statement on the Gambian deployment. There are serious difficulties facing our armed forces that are not unlike those facing other parts of our public sector. Overcrowded and inappropriate accommodation for personnel, inability to pay food and utility bills, and threats from providers to cut supplies. These are the everyday stories in all departments, and our armed forces face the same problems. It is a regrettable state of affairs that will not continue under my administration. Mr. Speaker, the police are the first line of security and protection for citizens. We must have an efficient police service that has the confidence and support of the people. I am determined to give whatever support is required from government to ensure that we have the service that the people of Ghana deserve. We must get a more professional police service where recruitment and training practices are of acceptable international standards. We shall continue recruitment into the police service with the aim of meeting the UN ratio of 1 police officer to 500 civilians, and also ensuring gender equity. Certain incidents occurred during the transition period that are matters of concern to me and should be to every Ghanaian, as they marred an otherwise dignified and successful transition. Wrongdoing has no political color, and I do not subscribe to the lawlessness of political party supporters simply because their party has been elected into office. Mr. Speaker, when those incidents began, I instructed the then Inspector General of Police, John Kudalo, to apply the law, irrespective of political affiliation, to all lawbreakers. This instruction was also carried on to his successor, David Asante Apietu. Both of them acted upon it, which helped to bring the situation under control. It appears these events were predicated on some concept of equalization, as they happened in 2009 and were repeated again in 2017. I condemn all such conduct, and I call on all political parties, especially the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, to ensure that this is the last time such undignified acts occurring during our periods of transition. There's one subject on my mind that I wish to put before the House for consideration. I believe in this 60th year of our nation that the time is ripe for us to establish consensus on some national issues. It is important for us to have a conversation on how we name things that are of national importance to us all. I speak of the seat of the presidency and Founders' Day. In my view, it is not right that 60 years after independence, these matters are still at large. It does not inure to the dignity of the Ghanaian Republic that such matters have become subject to political football. I believe we have to settle these matters once and for all, and in due course, I propose we have a national conversation and dialogue to this effect, which hopefully will end in legislation that will reflect the national consensus. Mr. Speaker, in a few days' time, we shall mark the 60th anniversary of the independence of our nation. Ebenezer, thus far has the Lord brought us. Mr. Speaker, we all know where we want Ghana to be, and we are aware that we are not where we want to be or ought to be. We also know the big dreams of our forefathers to build a self-reliant and self-sustaining nation that will take pride of place amongst the Community of Nations. This anniversary provides us with the opportunity to reflect on our past and plan for the future. This is the Ghana we see, a new Ghana. The most critical challenge inherited by this MPP government is the very high, unprecedented level of unemployment, particularly among the youth. It is a debilitating and confidence-sapping problem that affects every home. We can argue on what the official rate of unemployment is, but we can all see the desperation of our young people. They want to work, but there are no jobs, and some of them are being driven to unacceptable behavior. We have a veritable time bomb on our hands. To address this challenge, the government is embarking on one of the most comprehensive programs for industrial transformation ever to be introduced in our country. The key elements of this program are restoration and maintenance of a stable macroeconomy, monetary and fiscal measures which will lead to a reduction in interest rates and a reduction in the tax burden on enterprises, provision of reliable, affordable power to enterprises and homes, setting up of a stimulus package to support existing Ghanaian industries and improve their competitiveness, implementation of the initiative through public-private partnerships to establish at least one industrial enterprise in each of the 216 districts in the one district, one factory policy. Development of strategic anchor initiatives as new pillars of growth for the Ghanaian economy, including the establishment of petrochemical industries, an iron and steel industry, an integrated aluminum industry, the expansion of the domestic production of pharmaceuticals, the establishment of a vehicle assembly and automatic industry, the production of industrial salt, the establishment of garment and textile enterprises, and the manufacture of machinery, equipment, and component parts. Establishment of a multi-purpose industrial park in each of the 10 regions. Implementation of a comprehensive program for SME development. Establishment of an industrial subcontracting exchange to link large-scale companies with SMEs. Implementation of an aggressive program for export development, targeting primarily regional and continental markets. Enhancement of domestic retail market infrastructure and the active promotion of the market and distribution of domestically produced goods. Improvement of the business environment through regulatory and other reforms, and establishment of a permanent consultative forum for public-private sector dialogue. We are confident, Mr. Speaker, that through these interventions, significant job opportunities will be open to Ghanaians across the country.